Hello, good day. Welcome back to my YouTube channel, The Overflow Life with Dr. Uke. It's a new week. Yeah, life is so interesting. Life is so intense. But the thing about it all is that there are things you have to give attention to. If not, they slip by. And when you don't give attention to them, and you don't treat them the way you ought to, they have kind of repercussion, like consequences for not doing that. It could take some time for you to bounce back and get. Being a person of faith, we believe that there's always a second chance. God will always give you another chance. It's like you book an Uber, and then on the ride you miss your way. You have to stop, recalibrate, and try to find your way back to get back. So if you're supposed to be going south and somehow you're going north or you're going west, wherever, you just pause and then recalibrate, and then you get back. And so by the time you get back on track, you have lost time, you carry your driving fuel, and but you get back. You have a chance to get back. So this morning, today, I'm talking about decision making process, and how it impacts your life and the life of people around you. Maybe we'll call them stakeholders. How it impacts you, and then the stakeholders that you have in your life. Stakeholder, I like that. The stakeholders that you have in your life. This could be your husband, your partner, it can be your siblings, it can be your parents, it can be your friends, it can be your children. Decision making should be taken very seriously. And when you're making decisions, you need to consider all the options that are available, and just think through the process. If you think through the process of what you're going to do, then you can tie in the consequences, what it will be. If I make this decision now, what will it be 2 months from now? What's it going to bring to me 4 years from now, 5 years from now? What is the impact of this my decision on the people around me? Because if you don't do that, and on the spur of the moment you just make up your mind you're going to do something and you go ahead and do it, it's not only selfish, but it puts pressure on the system that is supposed to be supporting you. It just puts pressure on them all. For instance, a child that is supposed to be in school, and you're not taking your studies seriously, you're having poor grades because you're just gyrating and having time, just doing what you want to do. I had a discussion with a young girl yesterday, and she was asking me, how do I cope with my friends? How do I cope with friends who are not taking their studies seriously, but they want to hang out with me? I said, if you don't have the boldness to tell them that what you're doing is not right, which I don't think should be an issue with you because you're vocal, you should be able to excuse yourself from them when you're doing that. If you want to go to the library and they are not ready to go, you want to go and read at that time, you just tell them, sorry, I want to go and read. You excuse yourself, you leave them, you're going. Sorry, I'm leaving you guys. I'm not interested in this discussion, you're leaving. So you make those decisions because you want to do well with your grades. So if you have the children that will not want to take their studies seriously and they get out of school with poor grades, it now becomes an issue of what kind of work can you get. Is it you want to do masters and they tell you no, you can't take. There's an IOC, International Oil Company, in the country where I am, Nigeria, and their employment, they don't take anything below second class upper. So if you don't have a 2-1, if you have anything less than 2-1, you can't get in there. So if you take your studies seriously, it means you have more options, you have better options what to do. So at every point in time, any decision that you're making, think it through and ensure that the decision is taking you to the promised land, like All we do on this channel, Overflow Life, is how to have a better life, an overflowing life of abundance in every area of our life. So I will encourage us that when we're making our decisions and things we're planning to do, think it through, process it. What is the impact of this? Not just on yourself, but on the stakeholders, because whatever it is, it will bounce back to you. If the example I'm giving of a child who is in school, who is not taking her studies seriously, if she has carryover and she has extra year in school, the parents will have to pay the fees. So it's affecting someone else. It's not just her selfish self at this point in time, but it will affect someone else. So the decisions we're making, we'll have to think them through, the impact, the implication of them. And so that brings me to a question that I was thinking about as I was taking my walk this morning. I was thinking about it, that what is the toughest decision that you have made in your life? Just think about it, the toughest decision that you have made. Be it whether he turned good or he turned the other way. What's the toughest decision you have made? For me, I would say the toughest decision I made is to travel across several states to come to River State, where I am, to go to school. Choosing University of Port Harcourt for my first degree was it was uncommon in my family, because that's very far. Nobody had come this way. Nobody had, But I in the course of doing it, because I insisted that was what I wanted to do, I now had to reach out to a relative who was of a great support to me being there. And I just thinking about that now, I can see the ripple effect of that. The fact that I was very far away put pressure on my family, because getting across to me was a challenge. It's not now that we have phone. Then there was no phone. We're talking of 1990, 1991. There were no phones, so communicating was tough. It was letter writing, later that could end up in, it wasn't that good for you to write letters and they are delivered. But it was tough on everybody, because you just come to school. When you come to school, you have to hang in there until school closes, then you go, because of the distance and what to do. But the good thing about it is, because I came all the way here, I met my husband, who I've been married to for over 25 years. Yeah. So that decision to come here, thank God, it had its up and down on other thing, but weathered it all through. I ended up marrying my husband, who I'm married to, and I'm very happy I did. It's a blessing to me, because he had so many things. With all my excesses, yeah, he's been there for me. And that decision affected the stakeholders. My deciding to come all the way here to here, and it's just playing on, because I came to Port Harcourt. I had to because I needed support, they had to get in touch with my cousin, who located my cousin, and I was staying with my cousin in school. Of course, I could stay with my cousin, and through my cousin I met my husband, because we were both teaching in the same school. That was where I met my husband, and we're attending same church he was attending. We got married in the church, and the story in it, I think I can write the story of my life. It's a good story. Maybe I'll tell the story someday in a better way in it. But just see the decision, a single decision that I made. It was a tough decision for the family, for my family, my immediate family at that time, coming all the way here. Not everybody supported me or was happy about that, but they just felt, okay, if that's what you want, you can go ahead and do that. But it affected a lot of people in it, and see the consequences of it all. Thank God it's going well. So you can imagine if it wasn't going well and it is poor, it will not be a general problem. I had my granny, my maternal granny, then used to tell us when we're doing something, she'll say, behave well. Don't you know that when trouble falls, it spreads to other people? And we laugh, we laugh. The trouble, when there's all he just tries to say is an ugly situation spreads, so you won't be able to contain it. So it is better when you're making your decision, you consider all the options, consider the risk involved, Consider the consequences, not just to yourself, but even to the people around you, because whatever decision you're making will affect them in one way or the other. So in making your decision, look into all that and ensure you make the right decision. And I ask you the question, you can put that in the let's engage in the chat section, in the comment section. What is the toughest decision that you have made, and how has that played out for me? And what's the sweetest, that there's no regrets, nothing, you know, meeting Jesus as my Lord and Savior. That is a beautiful decision that I made many years ago, and it's been beautiful. It's been beautiful. It gets better with him, even getting to know who I am in Christ, and developing my life, deciding to yield to him, and all, even getting on YouTube in it. It's just so beautiful in it. The peace that you get from it when you yield yourself up to God and you just want to love God, you just want to pour yourself up to them. It's a beautiful feeling, and it helps you to stay focused and know that there are some things that are not important, because when you have your focus clear on something, it takes away distractions. So you just know that I'm staying focused on this is what I want, and because this is what I want, this is not important and that is not important. I'm going for this is what I'm going for, and life is a lot easier when you remove attractive alternatives from your life. You are able to stay focused on what is true and good, and staying focused with God. The wisdom of God guides you to all things. It gives you peace. You just have the peace from him. It's a beautiful feeling. It's a beautiful feeling. I just want to get emotional. It's a beautiful feeling just knowing that. All right, so what I called in here to tell you is, when you're making your decision, consider all alternatives, consider all options, and make sure the decision you're making is not just for your selfish gain only, but other stakeholders who will be affected by your decision. By so doing, you have a more stressless life, and you have the overflowing life we're talking about. You can live life to the full. All right, till I come your way again, this is Dr. Oke of the Overflow Life saying bye from now. All right, enjoy your week.